So that's really weird. Alright guys,
Don't
well,
worry. I'm muting.
Empire Funny joining us in chat, but let's get into this panda. Spawning here in the top right corner of the map. Spawning green and Protoss, it is Acro.
And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of Daybreak. It is the blue Terran player from Finland, Fuzer.
Yeah, so I mean, I gotta say, like, if he goes for an 11-11 again, I'm just gonna lose it, Panda. I don't even...
I don't know, I would laugh it off.
Well,
there's not anything at that point that you can do other than laugh.
I would love, by the way, if that worked the second...
Here we go, even Acro!
Yeah, because like after that first game, he was ready for it. Like we saw him actively scouting. He even did it for the first game. It just didn't work the same. Like his probe, as you said, I saw it rallied to the barracks,
yeah.
and then took like a hard left for no reason. So it was a little
you saw
unfortunate.
That too? All right, that wasn't just me.
Yeah, it was heading right to it, beelining. But yeah, Fuzer. I think it would be incredibly foolish for him to go for it once again.
There we go. We actually see a 12 barracks, and it is on point. He's not continuing with another SCV, so this will be a Reaper first. I'm interested to see if he follows us up with Factory Tech or if he just goes for a Reactor.
I like that.
Bomber.
Well, I like that regardless, Acro is scouting. Like, he's just not giving
absolutely.
Fuzer the chance. And the thing is, like, you can call Fuzer cheesy all you want, but, like, going for a double cheese build like that can really mess with your opponent's mind, like we see here today. Acro, like, very paranoid, checking everywhere.
Yeah, this is a little bit of lost mining time here, too, considering that Fuzer is not scouting and most likely will not, as he has a Reaper on the way in the near future.
Yeah, now Fuzer didn't go for that third spot, he put a wall off, but this is kind of what Fuzer does. Every time I've ever seen him, he tries to trap the probe in on purpose.
Yeah.
Will he actually? Oh, maybe he wasn't going to do that this game, as we did see him trying to struggle to get that supply depot down. Yeah, I don't know.
Is
like
a player that distantly does that.
Well, I was gonna say, like, one thing I really like to see Fuzer do is, like, go for Reaper. So we do see him going for Reaper first. I like this. He's very Reaper adamant, I find, with the games we've cast of him and Zotek recently. We'll have to see if he can make it work, though. Because, I mean, Reapers, like we saw earlier, on Mothership Core, you know, it gets taken out by Marines, whatever, but earlier today we saw them just shut down Reapers non-stop, so... Acro, if he gets wind of this... Okay, yeah, there comes the first Reaper.
Yeah. The second you see that gas taken, it's a tell. There's either going to be a factory down, there's going to be a Reaper down, or you're just going to do a reactor expand, which is actually pretty common in the beta. It's been going out of popularity, though, here in the actual retail release.
Easier going for our command center. I don't know what's happening in this game, Panda. Is he playing standard? Is this really happening?
He is. He's actually a very good standard player, too. He just cheeses a lot. And I think, too, as long as you can finish the series off ridiculously fast, you might as well try to.
Well, you know what's $100? Like, win whatever way possible, in my mind. The weekly tournament, some quick cash, go freaking feed yourself for a week, you know what I mean? Just from playing StarCraft.
The Stalker's so close to picking up that Reaper, but no, the Reaper will get away.
Yeah, it had like 4 health.
Or 1 gate FE coming out here from the Protoss player.
Now, Acro is a guy I've seen do many, many things, but the one thing I haven't really seen him do ever is go Sky Toss. Not even for so much as an Oracle Harass. Now, of course, I haven't got to cast him a whole lot since HOTS came out, but what do you think he's going to go for with this build, Panda?
His second gas is delayed a fair amount. I'd imagine we're going to see a Robo and then 2 additional gateways, just to get a solid core. He seems like a very solid player. He tends to like Blink Stalkers a fair amount, but I don't know. Against Fuzer, I feel that he really just wants to take this to late game, as that is where one would expect Fuzer to be a little bit less competent.
Oh my god! That Reaper has 1 health.
Yeah.
And it's getting more scout.
This is the second time this game that Reaper has had 1 health.
Oh my god, no. It turns around! But no! Unfortunately, he does get taken out. But he got a probe for that, plus another scout. I think that's the best use of that Reaper that he could have gotten out of it.
Oh, and I love this timing push. This is such an awesome timing push. Just walk forward with as many Marines as you have, and a single mine. The mine can zone until the robotics facility is up, and you can get so much scouting information. You can even force some units here. It's not like Zerg where you're forcing the Protoss to like create drones instead of, or Zerglings instead of drones, but do necessarily get your opponent to cut a few probes in order to get some more units out, which is always a good thing.
Well, I also like how he's got 1 Widow Mine with this, because those Stalkers, yeah, okay, they'll kite the Marines, be kind of annoying, but ooh, will it go down before? No, it actually does, bro!
Oh,
and
but hits the Zealot that is already really low, and he really wanted the sentry out of that.
Absolutely. But you know what? The Zealot's still not too bad. It's still a free kill, essentially. I mean, he didn't
Yeah.
lose anything for it. If he had lost, I wouldn't mind. That would have been pretty devastating. But Fuzer with a bunker coming forward. Oh, can he pick off the Stalker? That'd be so good if he does. He does. But
That's a good win for him, and I really like the fact that he's backing out. You cannot overcommit to this, or you will just snowball. The Observer is out on the field now. Fuzer did have confirmation in this, in the fact that his Widowmine did die.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a couple gates. Robo being the choice again here for Acro, and you know, I gotta say, it was deadly close. Like, it's so weird because the second game where he was forced to one base, like, the Colossus, yeah, it's so scary, whatever, but he still dealt with it very nicely. He didn't win the game by any means, but he took out the Colossi, and it was mostly just the ground forces that cleaned him up.
Yeah, and Fuzer actually sniped an Observer right there.
Yep.
We do have Acro going for this +1, going for Robotics Bay back at home. Not adding additional gates yet, but he does have his additional gas down at his Nexus in the natural. Meanwhile, Fuzer getting that Starport tech up. Stim just finished, Combat Shield just finished, Stim on the way. Or what the hell? That was actually a Combat Shield cancel.
Wait, what? I just finished looking at it. Was that intentional?
I don't know.
That is so weird, because, like, why would you even select the tech lab to hit escape?
To get a second medevac out? I
Maybe,
think that Combat Shield had just started, but if it had been going for a while, that's actually a pretty big win for our Protoss player. And I love the fact that Fuzer is abusing the smoke here. He's doing two things with this. He has the Widowmine down so that his opponent can't actually actively push into this without losing at least one unit, and he's constantly picking off observers. It's so good. This is such good play right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing I really like, again, it's the smoke, but also the watchtower. I mean, he sees everything that's going on, and oh man, this drop Panda. It could do a lot of damage. There's not a lot here in the main.
And this is completely in the dark. Acro has no idea about this. He does have enough energy to photon overcharge immediately on the Nexus. Oh, and that's actually
gonna
force Fuzer to opt out of that.
Well, you know what? It's totally understandable because that Nexus can do a lot of damage. If it focus fires the medevacs, those Marines are going to be useless. But Macro, oops, sorry, getting rid of the tab by mistake. Gonna just posture about. He's being. The thing is, though, Fuzer, while he's not causing any definitive damage, he's also forcing Acro to stay at home. So I mean, we see him going for a third now, and he knows that there's no real threat of doing that.
Yeah. I just want to say one thing, like, this is something that you would never see. Never, ever, ever see in Wings of Liberty. The fact that you have 2 Forges, a Twilight Council, a Colossus, extended thermal lance pumping, only on 3 gateways of production. The Mothership Core allows this because you can use photon overchargers to defend against drops.
Like we saw,
which is the key weakness of this build.
And that wasn't even one drop, that's 2 medevacs fully loaded. And ooh, that wouldn't mind, a little late. Couldn't stop the Nexus from going down.
Just a tad. But Fuzer's third is actually complete at this point, and Acro's is just going up. I feel that whenever I watch a Fuzer game though, he has these Widow Mines at the third base. They just barely don't kill the probe in time before it gets the Nexus down. This is like the 4th or 5th time that I've seen this that'll cast one of his TDPs. It's kind of funny.
I agree with that 100%. I've seen that as well multiple times, and it's always just barely, like you said. It's never like, oh, he missed it by a long shot.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I know, Woodmine's cleaned up, but it did pick off another probe before going down. These 2 medevacs continuing to just kind of chill around in the middle of the map, and I mean, look at the actual units on the field right now. Fuzer's got a really nice sort of clump, I guess you can call it at home. But he's doing
so many medevacs, which is going to serve him quite well, as he already does have 2 on the field. I love the fact that he's adding in Hellbats into his composition. This is something we saw Ryung do against MC in the GSTL yesterday. Here come the additional gates finally, and another observer goes down.
Wow,
freaking Fuzer play. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's map hacks, only way. I mean, he's just so good at picking up those observers.
I love, it's just like such a feeble chase right there. The Stalker's like,
yeah, that boost on the medevac
against the medevacs every now and then. The medevacs opting not to use boost and just like saunder out on the way.
Yeah, I mean, not having Blink, it's really annoying. I mean, he has it on the way, but it's still so far off. It's not going to be easy to catch these medevacs anytime soon. But the thing is, like, Fuzer, he's again, banking all these units at his base. You gotta imagine, like, he's been almost 7 minutes now with just this small amount of units keeping Acro at bay. Acro would have loved to have pushed out, would have loved to start poking at the third or try and harass a little bit, but he's forced to stay home and defend against a measly composition of Marines and 2 medevacs.
Yeah. And here we have a lot of upgrades on the way here. Gravatic boosters is something that I think, wow, if Fuzer actually got Acro to actively research Gravatic boosters simply for the fact that his observers keep getting pissed off, that is hysterical, and that is such a win.
Yeah, you don't often see players
for
go
our
for
third
that,
player.
at least in this situation.
Yeah, not until much later in the game when they have 4th, 5th bases, so much gas to be able to do with it what they want. Right now, the Templar Archives is just going down. So that's a lot of gas that he invested into something other than
that
units on the field.
again!
Apparently it doesn't help all that much, as yet another observer gets picked off.
Well, I guess you probably hurt more than help, because it's a lot easier to spot something blurred and moving fast than it is.
That is true.
So, I mean, I don't actually know that researching the speed was helpful, actually. But look at this drop. Someone in chat called it a doom drop, to say the least. As this is just about every single bit of Fuzer's army. He's going to try and pick up this Nexus and get out if he can.
Colossi here, though, and they do have lands complete.
But he's going to get the Nexus.
As Blink completes, get under the Medivacs, kill 2 immediately. A 3rd one will go down. Yeah. Ooh.
I don't know what you're calling. I'm just observing today.
Okay, I'm gonna ask Doom.
Okay, you can start that out while Acro continues to push around here. I mean,
finish this one, it's fine.
Okay, alright.
Just asking your son if maybe you can hold the game for us or something.
Yeah.
But a drop coming here at the 3rd. Fuzer continuing to be relentless. He's unfortunately lost the medevac, but trying to do what he can damage-wise. But Fuzer with the forward. Or, sorry, not forward. 4th. Blah, 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 coming underway here. And, I mean, the thing is, the further this goes, I feel like Fuzer's just sort of climbing ahead. Albeit very slowly, just climbing. But Acro finally pushing out of his base. We'll see if he can do some damage, because again, this is a lot of Blink Stalkers. We've got Storm Tech underway. He's also got some good upgrades on the way, but Ghost is coming out now too, Panda.
Yeah.
Both players on 2-2.
I feel that Fuzer is just going to try and hit a max timing that's going to be really powerful. Sage, is actually committing here. We have Acro against Fuzer.
The Hellbats are
Could be
getting
the deciding fight of the
massacred.
battle. Or, I don't know, dude.
If these Colossi live, though, this is going to be very problematic, as unfortunately Fuzer does not clean them up, and as good as Ghosts are, they're very limited in what they can do versus Colossus. Continuing to run, we have Fuzer really on the back burner now. Acro placing forward pylon, so he really wants to get some reinforcements going. Units lost is really not going well for Fuzer. That push was so good, but he lost another Colossus. And one Colossus, I feel, is not going to be enough to really do another push like this.
Another observer is actually getting target fired down instead of the Colossus there. But there's only one Colossus left on the field, and he cannot push up this ramp regardless of how many units he has with
Those
only
EMPs,
one Colossus to deal damage.
The EMPs get every single sentry.
Gateway units just get shredded up that ramp. And he doesn't have enough AoE to support his army. I like this decision to move back. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a 4th base up, but consider the fact that he only re-expanded to his main a couple minutes ago. Oh my god, Vikings.
And he's got Storm coming, but unfortunately there's no High Templar on the field with energy banked for it.
Yeah. He is continuing Colossus production, getting that +3 armor on the way. And finally, he is getting his 4th Nexus down. He's had the minerals to do so for a fair amount of time at this point. Fuzer is okay with that 4th base dying. I mean, he had his 3rd so much faster than his opponent did. And he'd been muling at that too. He's had 3 bases up just so long. Yeah, one thing he is really shinking on is the upgrades.
I was gonna say, Doom, if this next battle doesn't engage it, maybe tell Ursidon that they can start without us if totally necessary. I mean, this could be it, though. I mean, this is another really big Clash of the Titans. This is so many Ghost Panda, and this is, I mean, a lot of Templar, but again, they don't have that energy bank that they really need for this. And of course, EMPs can cancel that out entirely.
I like the Ghost positioning. The Hellbats could be a little bit more up front.
Hellbats get shredded by Colossus, so that's the problem, especially with 3 of them on the field.
But if you keep them in the back, they don't do anything. The range is so short.
Yeah, it's a real catch, like, how you want to sacrifice your units, basically.
There are a fair amount of High Templar out in the field, though. Not necessarily everyone with Storm, but he does have a fair amount stockpiled. And Cloak isn't researched yet.
Ooh, some nice feedbacks, but also the EMP going down as well.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we do have Acro starting to push out here. He's going to keep the research the last tab of what this happens. Vikings, of course, he does have enough to start two-shotting these Colossi if he can get close enough, but the Storm's going to keep Fuzer a little at bay for the time being, losing a lot of health on these units. Acro being forced back up into his main. Fuzer, though, continue with production. Same with Templars being warped in. I mean,
he's going to need to get to his third base fast because the Terran is on the way already.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, with these Templars warped in, again, they can't storm, so he's forced to make Archons right away because he needs those units right freaking now.
Yeah.
And I bet he, oh man, this is going to be painful. Colossi in the back end taken down very quickly by these Vikings.
With the Medivacs, he can actually take this.
EMP's going
despite
down.
the fact that Fuzer only has +1 armor, the Archons are getting shredded by the EMPs. The Colossi are down, aside from one. Although new High Templar just come into the field, they do have enough energy for Storm.
Backing away. And he's trying to fight away from that overcharge on that Nexus. Again, another really weird fight where two armies both narrowly escape.
Yeah.
We actually have a nuke coming out of Fuzer too, interestingly enough.
These can be used positionally on Daybreak, but he's not at a point where he's necessarily willing to throw away that gas. I think this is going to be used to just pick a better engagement for himself, but right now we have a 50 supply lead for Fuzer. A probe is trying to sneak out and get another fourth up, but... Oh, wait, does Fuzer actually sniff this out? Yeah, he's sending a Marine to go scout it. That's a good decision.
Oh, but he's got to be careful because he's going to get engaged here. Vikings again picking away at the Colossus. And Acro trying to bait him into some storms. Successfully lands one.
Yeah, two High Templar have enough energy to storm at this point. I love it if you actually warp the rest into an Archon, because it is inevitable that Fuzer will continue his push.
Acro's got so many minerals banked, I'm surprised he's not using this pylon that he's hidden from Fuzer for so long to warp in some Zealots and go for a counterattack of some sort. I mean, even if it's just 4 Zealots going to your opponent's 4th, I mean, something, anything, to draw his attention away, because right now Acro knows he can't take this fight head on.
So we do have the 5th Command Center on the way here from Fuzer. And SCV transfer, I mean, his economy is looking so ridiculously good right now. And his opponent is so oversaturated on the 2 mining bases that he has left. Fuzer pushing in here, stemming half of his units forward. I like that decision. The Medivacs are low on energy. You really don't want to overstim in this point.
And he just gets the base and leaves. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Acro also going for a bit of a counterattack of his own. SCV is getting ravaged by 3 Zealots going to town. And Fuzer can't really afford to split to take that because he's got to fight in the middle. Alright, well, Panda, this is really weird because these Zealots...
The storms hit everything! And Fuzer didn't micro out of it. The Vikings weren't attacking for a good part of the battle, but I don't think it's really going to make that much of a difference if the Vikings do land at the end of this engagement. He has enough medevac energy, but no, with these 2 Archons, he cannot take this.
Now the Vikings are actually going to just barely get away with their health. Stalkers blinking under them to clean them up. Medevacs as well should go down. No, boost going down as well. And somehow Acro, again, this has been so back and forth, guys. Meanwhile, we finally have another base coming out of Acro. I mean, he's trying to reestablish his 3rd, but take the 4th at the same time. And I gotta say, like, for how low his economy's been, he's actually been doing very well as far as these fights go.
Yeah. He's been cost-effective throughout this entire game. It's much more so than Fuzer. But Fuzer has secured an economic lead through his harassment and through his trades. That last engagement, that was a little bit too much for Fuzer. He's going to need to sit and really heal a lot more because his mineral count is just depleting so fast. He still has so much gas.
I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but the Ghost getting a nice EMP off on those Templar immediately forced the reaction of Archons. I think Acro may have thought a bigger fight was coming than what actually was, because of course he doesn't have any observers on the field.
Yeah.
Now starting to crank one out, realizing that, I believe. These Ghosts, man, they've got a nuke ready. Will they try and use this to question?
Here comes the cloak.
Oh, I like that EMPing the Templar once more, forcing that reaction.
And
no
getting
storms.
all of the sentries too.
This is going to be so bad for Acro, taking another fight without any energy units whatsoever.
Fuzer can't engage this. He's just trying to make Acro hesitate while he takes this additional base. He does not have the bio.
Yes! There it is, the ping on the minimap, the Heart of the Swarm feature.
That's the first time I've actually seen it in a game.
Oh,
the Observer is rushing forward here thanks to Gravatic boosters, and...
The one time the Observer is incredibly useful.
Who would have thought that Gravatic boosters actually would have made such a difference in this game?
Right? I mean, I'm sitting here watching, I think like 8 Observers get picked off at this point, but look at this, relentlessly still with these EMPs, very nicely done. Of course the shields regenerate, but it really keeps Acro from pushing out and fighting.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I mean, looking back at Fuzer, he's got his fourth base secured. He's mining out though everywhere. He's going to need to take another base, as we see him trying to establish here in the southern part of the map.
I'm interested to.
Oh,
wow.
Panda
Panda's actually pushing into this.
Yep. Gonna try and do
Goes
what
to
he
the front,
can.
getting their EMPs off. Vikings coming from the back, but Fuzer is so clumped right now.
And there's Templar this time.
Yeah.
For once and
He
ever,
does
we're
have
gonna have
his ghost
storms.
back in the center of his army. This is actually
If that planetary was up and running, this might be a different story, but this is not looking good for Fuzer. Another nuke coming down. Gonna try and push Acro back in this nuke land though, because it's so unconventional to nuke near your own base. I think both players catch wind of it. Observer. Oh, I was hoping the Observer would get nuked. It'd be poetically accurate for this game, but Acro again being chased back, and Panda.
Fuser's overextending a fair amount here. He does not have units to lose at this point.
He's got a Hero Marine here in the lower right trying to take out this Nexus while all this has been going on.
It's actually doing a pretty damn good job considering there haven't been any warpins there so far. Hasn't been stimmed either.
And now the planetary's up now too, which is a big deal because next time Acro pushes in here, there'll be the addition of that giant assaulting cannon.
Yeah. And that giant assaulting cannon does damage.
The Marine does go down, sadly. Ugh. Death animation so gruesome when the Zealot slices
it
it
is.
right down the middle.
It's my favorite death animation.
But yeah, there's several points in this game where I thought, like, this is just over. This fight, we called it 3 times. This fight will decide the game. But guys, both these players so good. Pulling back. I mean, their armies have never been fully annihilated. Both players always escaping with just barely a little bit alive. This is what StarCraft is about. But I gotta say, like, Acro finally getting his bases out. I mean, you gotta keep in mind, he's been trading evenly while he's been behind economically. Now he's gonna start slowly pulling ahead, and that's really not gonna be good for Fuzer.
Yeah. And I mean, Fuzer's just concentrating on Ghosts right now. He doesn't have any medevacs on the field. His first one just came out of the starport, and Vikings? Nope. Oh, whoa, those are all the medevacs.
Yeah, but they're gonna get picked off by these police stalkers. No, actually just barely getting away. This has been the game of barely getaways for medevacs, I have to say. Meanwhile, look at the resources lost at this point, guys. This almost a combined, well, actually well more than a combined 50,000 resources lost at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, this tells you the sort of trading that's been going on back and forth, back and forth.
Do have additional Hellbat production right now. It's a big mineral sink, but he does at this point have 5 bases up. Unfortunately, only 2.5 of those are mining.
I am quite curious. Oh, nice storm here by Acro.
Yeah.
I was going to say, though, I'm a bit curious why Fuzer hasn't gone for that top left base. It just seems like the easy option, but no.
He just doesn't have the money. If he were to just move his orbital out from his main.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But okay, Ghost continuing with the harass. We got, I mean, Templar coming in for storms. We got Ghost going back for EMPs. This has been the most passively, you know what, not even passive, this has been like the most soft aggression, I think is a bad word, this entire game. Yeah. I was going to say passive aggressiveness, but that'd be kind of like, oh, well, thanks for nothing.
Yeah, could you imagine like a passive, how would that translate into SC2?
Okay, well, we got another nuke with that awesome ping coming down. Will it land is going to be the big question.
Hey, is the Ghost in range? Oh, it's just barely out of range of the cannon.
Does he could storm, like, if he has an idea where it is. No, he's just going to evacuate instead.
Yeah, he's just pulling his SCVs. Alright, or probes. Okay. It's a little bit of lost mining time there.
Yeah, actually sniping off.
Snipes are being so valuable right now. The Ghost does die, but it did
2 almost full energy
to justify itself.
Yeah, those 2 Templar were almost full energy, about like 80% of the way, so really nicely done. But again, this is going to come down to a caster battle, I feel, more than anything else. And I don't mean us casters, I mean spellcasters. We've got this
oh my
war.
Gosh! All of the High Templar are out of energy right now. Sage, or I keep saying Sage. Oh my god.
Well, he's playing his
working some high temps at this point.
Acro is playing on a level.
Do so.
He's playing on another level. I'm not surprised you said Sage because I would confuse it as well. We got Vikings here in the middle of the map. There's enough of them to start dealing with this Colossi force effectively, but it's these darn Archons, man. He's got lots of EMPs, but it's not easy to connect to them.
I love the positioning here from Fuzer in this engagement. The Vikings have a beautiful concave. Unfortunately,
look at them start volleying down. The Colossi are going down so quick, but he's eating these storms, as you said. He needs to start backing out of them. Fuzer just doesn't have the ground forces to follow this up, Panda. All the Colossi are down, but he's got to retreat to that planetary.
He had that engage. The Colossus does go down, but as you said, there are too many gateway units. He can't push the planetary fortress, but he's certainly got so much more of a cost-effective engage. Look at the units lost tab right now. It doesn't usually say all that much, but at the moment, 13,000 more resources lost by Fuzer.
Well, ironically enough, it also never says this much, as this is an insane amount of resources to be lost over the course of this game.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really curious, Fuzer, I feel at this point, he really should, like, if he went for a drop in the main, I feel he could do so much damage, because Acro and him have been squaring off in the southern part of the map. I mean, to donate 4 Marauders, a handful of Marines. Oh, he gets the Nexus,
fourth
though.
will go down. Unfortunately, the cost of a lot of medevacs that Fuzer cannot replace.
Yeah, I mean, the resources are so scarce. These SCVs idle as well, not mining gas or anything. I mean, I don't know, Panda. He's got such a big gas bank. I'd like to see even just a couple Ravens start getting incorporated. Anything he can to start using these resources, because I don't think Fuzer has been maxed at any point this game.
No. No, he pushed the first time at 180 supply. Ended up losing a fair amount of this. Yeah, the Zealot's finally going over to check and see if
But there's
he's
nothing
just actually
there.
mining off of this 6th base over here. Nope.
This could be it, though, Panda. He can't afford to lose this base at all. SCV's trying to struggle to repair it. Zealot's getting fried alive by a combination of the Planetary Fortress Cannon
It's
and the
going down
Hellbats.
so fast, and the High Templar are just getting into Storm. EMPs need to go out on those high temps, but here come all the SCVs as a one final death push.
Yeah,
He doesn't have any medevacs though, so every bit of damage that he takes is not going to be able to get replenished.
Yeah, this really hurts. He's going to get that last Colossus, but both players on such scarce resources right now. Can he deal with these Zealots is the big question. I think, I gotta say, Acro's looking really good right now as he's got this base covered. Fuzer can't expand north. He has these 3 mineral patches, Panda. That's about it. Some long distance mining going on as well. Pulling his main over. But
And
I mean,
he can't long distance mine from his like normal 4th base too because of the 4 Zealots position there.
yeah, this is really unfortunate. He is moving out to try and do what he can, but I think Acro's in a really good position right now. We look at the upgrades as well. I mean, both players maxed out pretty much on upgrades. But Fuzer, I mean, he doesn't have the same economy right now. The income is just non-existent.
Let's see. We do have 2 Colossi, a little bit of Gateway Force moving up here. This is an orbital though, not a PF, and Fuzer does need to take this.
I gotta
because
say,
he cannot afford not to mine.
I would really like to have seen Fuzer go for that Viking Ghost composition in this game, like pure Viking Ghost.
Oh my god.
But that Storm, man,
Yeah.
that's gotta be it. I mean, Fuzer's gonna keep pushing, but what can he do? These storms are gonna zone him out. The planetary's been lifted. There's no mining going on. And
I have to
where are
say,
all the
it's been
CCVs?
really nice High Templar control this game from Acro. I mean, he's really been solid. As I say that, he just derps the High Templar into the army Fuzer. Oh man.
Alright, well, Fuzer's gonna try and take out this base once more, but he can't get out of this. He's getting himself into an impossible situation. Beautiful nuke coming down, but there's some observers there. He'll get the ghost.
Yeah, Ghost does get sniped.
If he could have got that nuke, though, Panda, that could have been enough to maybe get him back into this. There are ghosts again in production.
100 supply lead for the first time in this game.
It's nail in the coffin time, I feel.
It's definitely been a back and forth game though. Up to this point, we've really seen Fuzer initially throw away a lead that was quite substantial, I feel, with a Doom drop in his opponent's main base. And then come back into the game, garner himself up 5 bases, and unfortunately lose an army to High Templar and Storm due to a little bit of miscontrol. And the 4th from Acro is going to go down again. This just continues to get canceled and canceled and canceled.
But I mean, does that really matter at this point is the big question, because Fuzer doesn't have anything on the field. He's got no production, he's got no income, he's struggling to hold on to this, Panda. This top right base, though, or sorry, top left base finally established, landing a ton of mules. We might see him start collecting some actual resources now. Well, I mean,
how many
22
orbitals does he have
harvesters.
though? Because a fair amount have died at this point. Buildings are T, right?
Yeah, only 2 orbitals, 1 planetary. I mean, really, this is about as backed into a corner as you can get.
Alright. Doom saying that the game is looking pretty good for Pult there over on Pult versus Sage, which we will segue into after this game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we can't miss that. We're only missing game 1, but we can always catch you guys up on that through some simple word. But this planetary is one of the last few damage units I have.
Hero Marauder looking to take out a Zealot. Can he do it?
Forget Hero, ballsy, man. Never mind, he's a coward. Runs away.
No.
But yeah, this is...
You
I
have
feel
one
this
shot
is...
at making a name for yourself before you die, son.
Look at what's on the field for Fuzer. 1 Ghost, 8 Marines, 6 Marauders, and a Planetary. 4 SCVs mining up of 1 last mineral patch. This has been a long game.
165 supply Protoss.
This has been a long game, so I understand sticking in it for this long, but Fuzer looking to go out of here. The Zotac quarterfinals, guys.
Storms
GG.
over everything. There's the good game as Acro does advance to face Tails in the bottom bracket.